So I've had a profound shift at how I look and think and feel about challenges and obstacles that have happened in my life. And it's this shift in the way that I think and that I feel, so the emotions that I have and the thoughts that I have about whatever obstacle or challenge that I'm having, or the situation in my life that is happening, that has changed the way that I move through things. So in the past, like anyone who's followed my story at all, like when I had tough challenges, like I would get through them, but a part of like my soul or my heart would die as I was going through them. And it led to severe depression, where I was outwardly being positive, but internally I was just beating myself up. I was negative. I hated my life. I hated everything that was going on. Had a victim mentality internally. Externally, I was just like motivational and inspirational because that's who I thought that I was. I was almost playing a character. And it was because of every time a challenge came in, it was like the negative way that I'd think about it, and therefore the negative emotions that I'd have about it. And then all of a sudden it would pretty much guide the way I was living, which was negative and angry and upset and depressed and sad. And the shift happened when I realized, and you hear it all the time, but the shift happened when I realized that every situation in our life is designed for us to learn and grow. Like when we come down to earth and we're born and like we have a plan and a purpose. Now we have free will, we can do whatever we want to do, but we have a plan and purpose. And God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, knows what it's doing. So when we have a plan or purpose that we've designed for the way that we're going to grow in this lifetime, when that thing comes up, it is on purpose. It's either to keep us on track, push us back on track, or to learn whatever lesson we're meant to learn. So now when these obstacles come, like no matter what happens, if you will shift it and be like, this is for me. This is for me. I have to learn to get through this. Like, what can I do about it? This is not to beat me down. This is not to make me sad or mad or live in fear. Like our purpose and our highest best self is to live in love. So there's something about that situation that if I attack it the right way, if I think about it the right way, if I feel about it the right way, and I take actions that align to my best self, I'm gonna move through it and I'm gonna grow. My soul's gonna grow. My heart's gonna grow. My emotions are gonna grow. The way I think is gonna get stronger. So every single situation, and I've had some terrible ones. I know some of you have probably had some massive ones, or you have some really big ones now, and you're like, there's no way. I can't think of it that way. This is just too bad, or this is too... Every situation, we can look at it somewhere and we can find that little nugget of peace. We can find that peace in it and say, okay, there's something I need to learn here. There's something that is gonna help me grow. And when you look at it that way, again, it brings peace into the situation. Rather than looking at it and again going to victim, why me, I can actually gain peace from it and be like, okay, there's a lesson here. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get more spiritually connected. But there's something in it. And it is empowering and powerful and massive to look at it that way. So here's a process that I utilize when I'm doing that. One, when the situation comes up, it's really just having the awareness that that negative situation is a lesson. So when it comes in, again, and I get this through like meditation, through journaling. So it might hit you and it's okay, you're down and out a little bit. Like maybe it's the full day, maybe it's the week, maybe it's even a month, but at some point you need to have the awareness that it's a lesson. And we can get this through mindfulness, right? So drop into a meditation, do some journaling, do some reflection, like whatever you need to do. At some point you need to look at the situations in your life and think about how can you empower yourself through, what's the purpose of it, what's the point of it, because everything's got a purpose and a point. So that that first phase of awareness is key, because then from there, when we start getting aware that there's a purpose to this, again, it can shift our energy, right? And then number two is get the clarity. Like, okay, what is this lesson? And here's the thing, you might not know it. You might not be able to think about it. It might be beyond your comprehension. But but still though, gaining clarity and thinking about, okay, what is this thing? Again, it makes us feel empowered. Because we might find it. We might be like, oh my gosh, this is exactly why this is happening. I need to do this. I need to learn this. I've struggled with being compassionate. I need to be compassionate. I've struggled with fear. I need to have courage and overcome this, right? So if we get some clarity on what it is, it's very empowering. But if you don't worry about it. Still dive into that exercise, try to find some clarity, but then even just get clarity on that by taking action, I'm going to learn what the point of the situation was. There's many times in my life where a situation came in and I had no clue why. And then I go through it and I push through it. And guess what? Years later, months later, day later, whenever it is, sometime in the future, I learn what the point of that was, why I had to go through that. And then almost every single time I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. I needed that. It sucked at the time. It was hard at the time. It was painful at the time. It broke me at the time, but I needed it, right? But here's my thing. I don't think we have to be as broken and heartbroken and mentally broken and physically broken, emotionally broken when these situations come. Again, if we get awareness ahead of time that there's a purpose behind it, try to gain some clarity on what that might potentially be. Then number 3, you have to do something about it. You have the control on the way you think. You have the control on the way you feel, and you ultimately have the control on the actions you take. So when that situation comes up, there's 2 options. Sit in it, pout about it, be in victim mentality, or 2, do something about it, right? So awareness on what is going on, that awareness that this is for me in some way. 2, try to gain clarity on what that is, or at least clarity on actions will help me discover it. And then number 3, you've got to take actions. Do something. Think differently, feel differently, act differently, but do something to move through it. You'll thank yourself, because otherwise we get stuck, and we're stuck, and that can last forever. And all the miracles that we have in our life that are waiting for us are waiting on the other side of these walls. And when you're stuck in a situation, you can't see that next one. Sometimes a miracle's 10 walls down. We got to beat through 10 different walls before we get there, right? So you've got to move through it. So if you stay stuck on something for 10, 20 years, you might not find that miracle, right? You move on to heaven, you move on to whatever your belief is to the next phase, and they're like, it was there for you. I was trying to teach you a lesson with that wall. You were supposed to learn something through it, but you chose not to. All right, let's go back down and try it again. And you're gonna go back through the same thing. And lastly, like, we're not perfect. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna have moments when you're upset, when you're angry, when you're in why me, and situations break you. But again, this is why I love meditation. This is why I love journaling, doing some type of reflection. And as soon as you get that awareness that, hey, this is for me, it's an empowering feeling. Rather than this is happening to me, this is for me in some way. I might not know what it is, but it's for me. So hopefully you enjoyed this blog and this process. Try this. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Send it to me in video format and an email and a text and a DM. But just please share. Any way that I can help, I'd love to help. Like, this is what I do. This is my purpose. I am a life coach. I am a performance coach. This is what I love. So I'd love to add some value in your life. So again, if you want to reach out, please reach out. Other than that, have an absolutely blessed day, and I can't wait to the next one.